Plug this in. Oh, okay. Make sure I've not dropped the camera. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so welcome back to another Facebook Live yoga class. It's lovely to, I was going to say it's lovely to see you, but obviously I can't see you. But it's, thank you for joining me. If you're joining me or you're replaying it, really appreciate it. And we're going to have some fun today once I just move my camera over a little bit like that. Yes. So obviously it's rubbish weather outside. So something we need to be aware of today is if my internet connection goes, if it starts to rain and if it starts to thunder, you know where I've gone. I've dropped off the grid. So yeah, we might have some internet problems, but whatever. We'll just work with it as we always do. So today we're going to be having a look at wheel pose, urdhva, dhanurasana, chakrasana, upward bow, crab. It's called many things. But it's ubiquitous. It is a posture that you come to time and time again in all styles of yoga, especially in Ashtanga, though, the style of yoga I practice and teach. There is a whole back bend sequence that comes towards the end of primary that we work through, and it's a very complicated posture. It's a full body experience. It requires everything to be working harmoniously. And one of the things I say about wheel pose is, although it is a back bend, the back bend aspect to it, in my opinion, is the least important thing. All right, obviously we do need a degree of flexibility in the spine, so we're going to be working with some gentle back bends. We're going to warm the back up, but there are more immediate elements to wheel pose that are gonna stop you from coming into it fully. Those being the quads, the hip flexors, the shoulders, and the wrists. So if the front body is tight, it's going to be very difficult to come into your back bend, and I always like to see back bends as front body openers first. So we are going to be doing some lunges, things like that, to wake up the fronts of the legs, specifically quad psoas area. Even your core muscles, if your tummy muscles are tight and strong, great, but it can stop you from coming into wheel comfortably. So I've come into a wheel pose before without warming up, without stretching my tummy muscles out and the tops of my legs, and I pulled all the muscles in those areas. I felt a snap, and that was my tummy muscles going, and honestly it was the worst pain I've ever felt. I've done some stupid things. So yeah, front body openers first and foremost. Shoulders, very important when it comes to wheel. As well as needing leg strength, front body flexibility, you do need upper body strength, but you also need a lot of shoulder mobility. So you think about the arm position, you're taking your arms back like this, you're trying to line your wrists up with your shoulders. Now this movement here is really difficult. If the shoulders are tight, you're not going to be able to find the correct hand placement. If the wrists are tight, it's going to be very difficult to place the hands on the floor behind the head with the fingers facing the feet, and to get the palms down. Now you cannot come up into wheel if you cannot get the hands flat. So we are going to be looking at the shoulders as well. You will need a strap. You will need a strap for sure in this class. So if you want to find a strap, just locate it, dressing gown, cord, belt, something similar. It's going to be handy. And I think we're ready to go. If you do have any injuries, just check with your doctor before doing this class, because it is going to be a little bit faster paced than some of the other stuff I've been doing recently. And mindset. Wheel's a scary posture. So we're going to be focusing a lot on, you know, calming the brain down, preparing mentally for this posture. It's scary, especially if you've got back pain and stuff. It can be a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, that being said, everything being said, we're going to come to the front of the mat. We're going to have some fun. All right, so first things first, we're going to be doing variation A and maybe a few of variation B, so types of sun salutations you find in Ashtanga. As we move through these sun salutations, I want you to pay special attention to the wrists, the fingers, and also the upward dog, the back bend. So in terms of wrists, when we move through our planks, when we move through our downward dogs, fingers nice and spread as you can get them. So really stretching into the wrists and also pressing down any gaps that may appear underneath your fingers. So pressing the palms flat in the floor. So focusing on that and focusing on your up dogs. So as you move through your upward dog, lead with the chest. It's almost like you're trying to pull your chest through your arms, keeping the shoulders back. And this movement here, propelling the chest forward, shoulders back, it's going to be very important when we come to our wheel pose, because we're trying to take the chest through the arms. Okay, all makes sense. If it doesn't make sense right now, it will make sense as we go through it. So come to the front of your mat, feet together, balls of the feet together, ankles slightly apart. Just lift your shoulders, allow them to fall back, and to begin with, the arms are relaxed. We're not tensing the biceps or the triceps. We're not clenching the fists. Arms are floppy, but the chest is broad, and tuck the chin in ever so slightly to keep the back of the neck nice and long. So starting in Samastahiti, equal standing, feeling the weights shared between the toes, the heels, the outside and inside edges of the feet. You can close your eyes here if you want. If you close your eyes, you're going to notice all these little micro balances in your feet as the body constantly readjusts to find its center of balance. And I feel like this is quite an important thing to be mindful of when eventually we come to our wheel pose later. So the body's working as one, harmoniously. The legs, the shoulders, everything's fluid. And wheel is a very fluid pose. Lots of micro movements, micro adjustments, subtle shifts in the feet, the hands, the head, the elbows, all those little areas of the body we tend to forget about, especially in quite, an advanced posture. And just taking a moment to steady the breath, bring the attention into the room, starting to fine-tune that concentration right from the beginning, that focus, that awareness of every part of the body. And with backbends especially, the breath has a real tendency to get a little bit quick, a little bit laboured. So if we can slow it down here, it's going to be helpful. Inhales, exhales equal in length, breathing deeply through the nose, but finding a rhythm that's sustainable, something you're able to maintain throughout the practice. So at no point do you ever want to feel like you're running out of breath. It's not a competition of who can breathe the slowest. It's very personal, very unique to you. Okay, and then just open your eyes. Now we're going to start with a couple of variations. We're going to take the first one nice and slow, just to warm the body up a bit. So as you inhale, swoop the arms up, look up, palms together, head tilts back, look thumbs, just hold this stretch here. So reaching up through the fingertips, rolling the shoulders forward away from the ears rather than drawing them down the back. So there's a real sense of upward lift. Little stretch into the neck as we take the head back. And if it's very uncomfortable to bring the palms together, more than welcome to separate the hands to begin with. Few more moments here, really finding that length through the spine. Take another inhale, reach a bit higher, and then as you exhale, fold forward, first forward fold, hands to floor, drop the head. My hamstrings. Now, first forward fold in, I feel you, I'm right there with you. So bend the knees as much as you need to get the hands down on the floor. Now, really, we do want the hands to be flat. If that means you have to bend the knees more, do it. Because we're going to be focusing on getting the hands flat today. So spread the fingers even from this position, pressing the palms gently into the mat and then letting the head relax. So working into the back of the legs, but more importantly today, we're also working into the lower back. So starting to work on that flexion for our back bends. Taking a few moments here, just set. And then as you inhale, look forward, lengthen. Now keep the hands flat if possible, but fingertips is okay if you feel a little bit tight today. And then exhale, step back to plank, just hold your planks. Fingers spread, feel that contact between the back of the fingers, the palms, the floor, and then move the weight forward. So you're sharing the weight between the hands equally rather than overloading into the wrists. Now, when we come through these next sun salutations, from here, if it's all a bit too much, you can drop the knees. And then from here, as you exhale, you're going to lower to a very low press up or the floor. Up to you. Then inhale, pull through a back bend, hold your back bends. So your back bend can be shallow or deep. The tops of the thighs can be on the floor or off the floor, but still leading with the chest. So pulling the chest through the arms, shoulders back, breath steady. Just holding it for a few more moments. And then exhale, roll over the toes and come into downward dog. So first downward dog, again, let's take it slowly. You can have the knees bent, heels can be off the floor, and this time around you can pedal one heel down towards the mat and then the other, just to work into the backs of the legs. You don't have to, but you have the option. Just keep the head relaxed, so the head tilts back between the arms. Eventually look in towards the navel. Now when yoga teachers say this, it sounds a little bit stupid because you can't really see the navel, but that's the direction the eyes are moving in. Now if that feels uncomfortable, just look back between your legs. And then take your attention to your hands, spread the fingers, press down through the backs of the fingers and the palms, and keep the arms straight. Keep the arms strong, push forward with the hands to take the hips back. Breath steady, few more rounds of this. Maybe pushing your hip back as you take your heel down towards the floor for a deeper stretch in the top of the leg, so top of the hamstring, glute area. Okay, wonderful. Then stop pedaling, take the hips back, and then on your next inhale, step or jump, up to you. Your feet forward, look forward, keeping the hands flat if possible, and then exhale, drop the head forward, fold. Inhale, arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Good, a little bit quicker. So inhale, arms up, big reach. Exhale, fold, hands to floor, drop the head, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, you look forward, press through the hands, palms flat. And then exhale, feet back, lower to low press up or the floor. Inhale, pull through your back bend, lead with the chest, pull the chest through the arms. And then exhale, downward dog. Again, if you want to pedal your heels out in this downward dog, absolutely fine. Another good thing to do in the first couple of downward dogs, if you want, is to make your downward dog a little bit longer. Keep the heels off the floor, and that's really going to exaggerate the length through the spine. It's going to enable you to really get a sense of pushing back. Just an option. Fingers spread, breath steady. And then pressing down any gaps that may have appeared underneath the fingers. Okay, lovely. And as you inhale, feet forward, look forward. Hands flat if possible, fingers spread. And then exhale, drop the head forward, fold. Inhale, arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Again, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, drop the head, bend the knees if you need to. Then inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, back to plank. And lower, feeling the weight through the hands. And then inhale, back bend, chest leads. And then exhale, downward dog. So warming the body up. The body has to be warm for Will. So setting your downward dog up, feel free to move the hands and feet if you need to. Feet hip width apart, hands roughly shoulder width apart. And then now, not pedaling the feet, we're just drawing the hips to the back of the room. So pressing forward quite strongly with the hands to take the hips back. Spreading the fingers, feeling the contact between the hands and the floor. And some salutations are great preparation before this back bend. You have the upward dog, you have the downward dog, which is a great release in the lower back, as well as the shoulder strengthening elements in the chaturanga. The back release in the forward fold. A few more deep breaths. Okay, wonderful. Then inhale, feet forward. Look forward. Exhale, drop the head forward, fold. Then inhale, arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Again, inhale, arms up, reach. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, look forward, press through the palms. And then exhale, back to plank. Lower. Inhale, a back bend, lead with the chest. And then exhale, downward dog. Setting the feet, setting the hands. So 4 points of contact, sharing the weight between the hands and the feet. Spreading the fingers, drawing the thighs back. And finding that length through the spine. Eventually, creating a 90-degree angle with the body. And then just notice what your shoulders are doing. So rolling the armpits down towards the floor. So we stay broad across the upper back. The neck has plenty of room. Few more deep breaths. Doing well. Okay, and then inhale, feet forward. Look forward. Exhale, drop the head. And then inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, arms by your side. One more. Inhale, arms up, reach. Exhale, fold, drop the head. You inhale, look forward, fingers spread. And then exhale, back to plank and lower. Keep the fingers nice and spread. Then inhale, back bend, chest leads. And then exhale, downward dog. Set the feet, set the hands, feet hip width apart, hands roughly shoulder width apart, and then breathe in deeply. So prioritising the breath, using the downward dog as almost like a, people hate it when I say this, but a resting posture. The chance to find that slow, steady rhythm. Strong arms, broad shoulders. And then drawing the thighs to the back of the room. Okay, lovely. Then inhale, feet forward. Look forward. Exhale, drop the head. Then inhale, arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Fab. A couple of variation B. So as you inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips low. You're coming into chakrasana, chair pose. And then exhale, fold. Belly to thighs, hands to floor, then straighten the legs. You inhale, look forward just like before. Then exhale, back to plank, lower. Inhale, pulling through a back bend, chest through the arms. And then exhale, downward dog. So from here, you're going to turn your left heel in, step your right foot between the hands, come up to standing warrior one, look up, hold it here. So in this warrior one position, we're sinking down low, we want the right knee somewhere over the right ankle, back leg straight, and then feeling the stretch in the top of the left leg, so top of the back leg, as you roll the left hip forward, stretching into the shoulders, so real upward lift, roll the shoulders forward away from the ears. And then exhale, hands to floor, back to plank, lower, fingers flat, and then inhale, a back bend, lead with the chest, and then exhale, downward dog. Right heel in, left foot between the hands up to standing, warrior one on the inhale. Again, feeling that stretch in the top of the right leg as you draw the right hip forward, lifting the arms up, back foot flat, and then exhale, hands to floor, back to plank, and lower. You inhale a back bend, and you exhale downward dog. Woo! Right, I'm kind of regretting that bowl of porridge I had an hour before the class, but you know me. So in the downward dog now, setting it up, feet, hands, feeling the contact between the feet and the hands. Think about it. We're in a downward dog. It's exactly the same, really, kinda, as will, in the sense that you've got 4 points of contact, your feet, your hands. So you need to share the weight between the feet and the hands. Okay, lovely. Then as you inhale, feet forward, look forward, press through the hands. And then exhale. Use the hands to draw the head to the knees. And then as you inhale, coming up into Utkatasana chair pose. And then exhale, release. Oh, you're gonna have indigestion. Right, I never learn. One more. So we've got one more variation B, we can do it a little bit quicker. So feet together, as you inhale, bend the knees, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, belly to thighs, hands to the floor, then straighten the legs. You inhale, look forward, hands flat if possible. And then exhale, back to plank and lower. Inhale, a back bend. Exhale, dog. Left heel in, right foot between the hands. Inhale, warrior one, look up. And then exhale, hands to floor, back to plank and lower. Inhale, a back bend. Exhale, dog. Right heel in, left foot forward. Warrior one on the inhale, look up. Exhale, hands to floor, back to plank, lower. Keep the hands flat. You inhale, a back bend. And you exhale, dog. Breathe. Setting the hands up, setting the feet up. Spreading the fingers, dropping the head. Shoulders roll down, hips draw back. And then sharing the weight between the feet and the hands. Lovely, then as you inhale, feet forward, look forward. Exhale, drop the head like the beginning of the posture. Bend the knees, sink hips low, arms up, look up. And then exhale, release. All right, have a drink, have a drink. I always say that when I need a drink. Good, fab. Oh, it's hot, isn't it? Muggy. I hate this weather. Hate this weather. This weather's not good for me. I overheat. Shoulders. So sun salutations, fabulous all-round movement. But we've woken up the back with the forward folds, the back bends, the downward dogs, strengthened the legs, strengthened the shoulders, prepared the wrists. What else do you need? Well, we're ready for it, basically. We can do it now if we wanted to. But there are some things we need to work on first, like the shoulders. So this is hands down my favourite shoulder exercise ever. Can't beat it. Absolutely number one. It's the shoulder strap exercise, as I call it in my class plans. So pick up your strap, stand with your feet hip width apart, and we're going to do this 3 times. So the first time you want to start relatively, well, we are going to start relatively gentler, and then we're going to make it a little bit harder as we go. You can't beat this preparation for Will because it's an exercise in taking the hands back. You're going to stretch the front of the shoulders and work on that mobility. So if you want to stand up and then take the strap overhead, lengthen the strap so the top of the strap is on the head, and just sort of make sure you're going like quite wide to begin with. Don't wrap the strap around your hands, because if you need to lengthen it as you go on, it's going to be hard to do. Then from here, you're going to inhale, lift the strap up, and then exhale, take the strap back halfway. Yeah, there we go, simple. My hands are so sweaty. I might have to wrap the strap around my hands. So just have a little look at your elbows. I want the elbows to be facing up, so a little bend in the elbows here. And then avoiding coming into a back bend or a forward fold or a twist. So keeping the body nice and upright and isolating the movement from the shoulders. Looking straight forward. And then we want the strap to be quite strong, so gently pulling on the strap. You're going to feel the strength come into the biceps especially. Taking a moment here. And then exhale, take the strap down to your butt, and then we're going to do a little counter stretch. So from here, just roll the shoulders forward, round the back, chin to chest. Much sort of a similar movement to the things we do in cat-cow. And then inhale, roll the shoulder blades together and lift the strap back up halfway. So halfway is the point it hurts the most. So, like, mirrors in yoga can be annoying, but this is where they become quite helpful. So make sure that you're not taking it too low or too high. You want it at the point where it tickles the most. And then gently tug the strap, elbows face up, and then can't beat the shoulder opening. No. Okay, and then take the strap all the way over your head, back down towards your thighs, and then give your shoulders a little shake. Wonderful. So if that was enough, if you're going to repeat it, you might want to lengthen the strap. Otherwise, we are going to have a go at shortening the strap. So shortening the strap if that's appropriate. And again, taking the arms over your head, you inhale, lift, and you exhale, take the strap back halfway. Halfway? Ashleigh, not, not 3/4, halfway. And as you shorten the strap, if you are, a bit more of a tendency for the body to want to lean forward to help. So keep the body upright, belly draws in, neck long, elbows face up, little bend in the elbows, and then feeling that wonderful opening into the chest. If this movement doesn't happen, will not happen. I think that this is probably one of the most important movements for this posture personally. Okay, wonderful. And then just bring the strap down to your butt, roll the shoulders forward, tuck the chin in towards the chest, little counter stretch. And then squeeze your shoulders together and inhale, lift the strap back up halfway. Okay, gently pulling on the strap. Nice, slow, steady breaths. And then take the strap all the way over your head to your thighs, and then give your shoulders a shake, and we're going to do that once more. So up to you, you can keep the length, you can lengthen the strap, you can shorten it, totally up to you and your shoulders. One last time though, so as you inhale, lift the strap up, and then as you exhale, take the strap back halfway, make sure it is halfway. A little bend in the elbows, elbows inside of the elbows face up. Not coming into a back bend or a forward fold or a twist. Gently pulling the strap. And then exhale, take the strap down to your bum, roll the shoulders forward, tuck the chin in, little counter stretch. And then last time, squeeze the shoulder blades together, inhale, lift halfway. Halfway. And then take the strap all the way over to your thighs, and then put the strap to one side because we don't need it. We don't need it anymore. I'm experimenting with lighting in this room. It's a bit light, isn't it? Give your shoulders a shake. Wonderful. nearly there. I mean, all this preparation. So we're going to come through another sun salutation. We're going to take it into a little low lunge. Tops of the legs need stretching out. So feet together at the front of your mat. Now lift your shoulders, allow them to fall back and just feel that broadness across the chest. It should be a lot easier now to get that sense of openness in the upper body. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. And then inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, hands to floor, drop the head, forward fold. You inhale, look forward, lengthen, and then exhale, back to plank, chaturanga. So moving through our sun salutation, inhale a back bend, feel the openness in the shoulder, chest leads, and then exhale, downward dog. So just holding your downward dog for a brief moment, feet hip width apart, hands roughly shoulder width apart, drawing the thighs to the back of the room. Now from here, as you inhale, take your right leg behind you, point the toes, and then exhale, swoop the right foot through between the hands and drop the left knee. We're coming into a low lunge. Oh, it's a bit tickly for me today. Okay. Oof. All right. Ooh. Don't worry if you feel like me. Big old posture. Don't worry if the right knee comes over the ankle a little bit. It's not going to kill you. It's fine. But if your right knee hurts, just take the weight back a little bit. Otherwise, sinking the weight down and then feeling this huge stretch, top of the left leg. You can take your hands to your knees to begin with. That's what we're going for. The stretch at the top of the left leg, the quad, the hip flexor. These kill me every time. If the back knee hurts, you can pad it out with a jumper or something similar. And again, just keep the chest lifted. So don't lean forward. Roll the shoulders back, chest lifts. Breath steady. Go to your happy place. Think about anything other than the posture. Breath is a good start. Alright, so you're either going to stay here or we're going to bring the shoulder opener into it now. If you want to stay here, absolutely fine. If you need a break, have a break. Otherwise, interlace the hands behind the back. Straighten the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together and gently lift your chest and your chin upwards to face the ceiling. So we're drawing the arms down, plugging them back. Chest lifts, hips sink, breathe. For 5, 4, 3, we were singing it in a minute, 2, and 1. Lovely. Hands back to frame the right foot, tuck the back toes, and step back into downward dog. I feel like I'm like the only yoga teacher who makes yoga look like an absolute ball ache. I'm not graceful. So just setting your downward dogs up, having a bit of fun, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing the other side. So as you inhale, left leg extends behind you, point the toes, and then exhale, stepping or dragging the left foot between the hands, drop the right knee. And then come up to your low lunge, hands on your left thigh to begin with, but just make sure the chest stays lifted. Being careful of your knees, maybe padding the back knee out, and then just noticing the differences between the sides. One side often feels a little bit tighter. What we're after is that very intense stretch at the top of the right leg as the hips sink. So stretching out the quad, stretching out the psoas. If these areas are tight, it's going to be hard to come up into your back bend, opening up into the front body here. Settling in. We're in it for a little bit longer. Okay, so having a rest, staying with the hands on the knee, especially if you feel like you need a bit of support, or we're going to bring that shoulder opener into it by rolling the shoulders back, interlacing the hands, and then plugging the arms down as you lift the chest, lift the chin. Arms as straight as possible. And then holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. down, wonderful. Release the hands, hands frame the foot, tuck the back toes, and then step back into downward dog. And you may want to just pedal one heel down here. You might want to do some other movements that feel good, but just staying in here for a breath or two. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to inhale, step or jump through to seated. Oh, you made it. Maybe give your legs a shake. Hard postures, aren't they? Those low lunges. I think like the only, the strongest part of me, like my arms are noodles, my core is noodle, my ankles are noodle and my knees are noodle, but my quads are like iron. I'm like a pack horse, so anything that to stretch the tops of my legs out just kills me. Oh, and my butt is noodle as well. Well, my whole body's noodle apart from my quads. So those low lunges get me every time. Okay, so we're going to now have, we're going to do a little forward fold, little dhanurasana, little forward fold, and we're going to work a few little back bend type things, but less back bend, more shoulder openers really. So dhanurasana, legs straight, toes pull back, thighs roll in, and then we're moving forward on the sit bones, drawing the tummy in, push, extending through the spine. So trying to find some length through the spine here. Place your hands either side of your hips, not forward, not back, by the side of your hips. And already, again, let's think about what the hands are doing. Fingers are spread. Really, we want to get the palms flat on the floor. Some people, this is impossible. Some people need to come up onto their fists here. It's not a problem, but let's see if we can press the palms down. Then imagine you're sitting up against a wall, chin tucks in, and then breathe. Just breathe. So tops of the legs should be shaking, thighs are rolling in towards one another, so no gaps between the legs. And the elbows spin in as the shoulders draw back. Wonderful. Amazing. Okay, and then from here we're coming into a forward fold. So simply, reach forward, take your big toes, first two fingers and thumbs, bend your knees as much as you need to get hold of the toes. And then inhale, look forward, straighten the arms. Lead with the chest as you exhale, fold forward, then down. So sometimes there's a bit of a tendency for people to just go down in this posture, but energetically we're pulling the chest, well we are pulling the chest towards the shins. Elbows out sideways, feeling that huge stretch in the back body now. Calves, hamstrings, glutes, lower back, and breathe. Okay, and then inhale, look forward. And this time you've got an option. You can either take the tops of the feet, thumbs over the toes, working the toes back. You can take the toes again, or you can bind wrist behind the foot. Either way, inhale, lift the chest, lead with the chest, always leading with the chest. And then exhale, fold forward. Keep the shoulders rolling back towards the waist, keep the elbows out sideways and breathe. So the reason we're doing this, I mean, forward folds are a fantastic counter stretch to back bend, so we will be doing another one of these later, but a really great way to release the lower back. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. Be conscious of the shoulders though, so keep the shoulders rolling back as the chest goes forward. Okay, and then inhale, lift, and then exhale, release. Give your legs a little shake, come onto your backs and just hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side, make some circles. Another nice little movement, it feels really good after a back bend, so another movement we'll come back to later. Right, and then just make your way back up into seated. So we're going to have a reverse table, purvottanasana afterwards. I think a lot of people call this a back bend. It's not really a back bend, it's more shoulder opener. And the hands are in a very, very similar position to what we want them in Will. And you're going to feel this in your shoulders, so it's a very challenging upper body posture. We're just going to do an easier variation first, and then we'll try the full thing. So reverse table. I mean, this is sort of a bit like wheel. So feet hip width apart, knees bent, then take your hands about a foot behind you, fingers face forward. This is really important. So some people find it easier to have the fingers facing back. You're not getting the same kind of shoulder stretch, so fingers face forward, palms flat. Okay, then from here as you inhale, 4 points of contact, strengthen the legs, strengthen the arms, press into the feet, press into the hands and lift your hips up towards the ceiling, forward and up. Should be able to eat the dinner off your belly. And then from here, you can keep the chin tucked in or you can drop the head and look back behind you. You're gonna feel that strength in the shoulders especially here. Glutes, we're not squeezing them, but they are engaged to protect the back. And then also very important, especially when we come to our wheel later, to keep the knees in line with the hips, so don't let the legs splay out. So that's where the glutes help. Gentle engagement to keep the knees pulling in. Breathe here, a few more moments. Feel the strength in the legs, the arms. And then exhale, release, bum back down. Ooh. Ooh, got a bit dizzy then. And then maybe hug your knees into your chest. You don't have to, you can grab a drink if you want. I'm gonna do this. And now we're going to have a go at the full posture. So if the full posture you're like, absolutely not, don't want to do it, fine. Just repeat that one we just done, it's just as good. Otherwise, Purvattanasana, you have your legs straight, but it's exactly the same movement, the hips lift up and forward, and eventually the soles of the feet come down onto the floor. It definitely increases the work in the upper body. So if you want to give this a go, your legs have to be together. Have to be, absolutely. There's no legs apart, it doesn't work, it's not the same. So legs together, roll the thighs in towards one another, point the toes. So as we lift up, what's going to happen is the soles of the feet will eventually come down. Take the hands about a foot behind you, fingers face forward. Here we go. Strengthen the upper body, flexibility in the front body, and then inhale, lift the hips up. Forward, so the soles of the feet come down, chin tucks in or maybe drop the head behind you. A lot of work in the shoulders. Breathe here. Another great preparation posture for wheel. And then exhale, release. Wonderful. Come onto your backs this time. Hug your knees into your chest. Definitely rock from side to side. Just have a moment. Have a moment. Okay, and then make your way back up to seated. So yeah, that posture there is a good indication of whether or not the body's sort of ready for the wheel pose. If you're really struggling to lift the hips up, it might be an indication that wheel is going to be a little bit tricky. In many ways, wheel could be a little bit easier because you're bending the knees, you're able to get a bit more push up through the legs, but we'll see. Just rambling. So a few more things to do. One more prep posture, and then we're going to move on to onto sort of the back bends, the sequence. I want to have a go at half reclined hero. The reason I want to do this is because it is a very good stretch in the front of the legs, just like that low lunge. The only problem with this is there's slightly more tendency to feel it in the knee, especially if the quad and the hip flexors tight, also the top of the foot. So if you think you're going to have a problem, you might want to grab a jumper to place underneath the top of the foot. If you have a block, you might want to keep that handy as well. So starting dhanurasana with your legs straight out in front of you. This is one of my favourite postures. Mostly because I can just lie down in it, and I like a passive posture, me. So from here, legs straight out, we're going to roll over to the left and then see if we can place the top of the right foot to the outside of the right hip. Maybe move your calf out of the way and sit your right butt cheek down. So this is very similar to a posture called Triang that we do in Ashtanga, except in Triang we go forward and today we're going backwards. If at this point it's hurting your knee, hurting your foot, maybe a blanket underneath the foot, maybe a block underneath your butt. So to take some of the pressure out of the knee area, the hips are tight, the quads are tight, sit on a block and just see how you get on there. If you sit on a block, you won't be able to fold backwards today, but just take a couple of breaths on the block, see how you feel, and then maybe remove the block, put the block back under and play around with that movement. We want the knees to stay together. At first the knees might separate a little bit. That is absolutely fine, but let's, you know, over time remember that we're trying to draw them together. Extended foot is active, and then you might want to stay here. You might want to stay sitting on your block, but if you're comfortable here, you're going to place your hands behind you, fingers face forward, and lean back. As you lean back, that right knee is going to want to lift, but see if you can keep it drawing down. See if you can keep the knees together. We're trying to feel a big stretch in the front of the right leg, that same area that we were targeting with the low lunges. Okay, you might want to stay here. If this feels okay, and only if it feels okay, you're going to drop down onto your elbows. If you've dropped down onto your elbows, a bit more of a tendency for that right knee to want to lift, but see if you can draw it down, see if you can keep the knees together as much as possible, see how you feel. Anywhere in this posture is perfect. Basically, we're trying to feel the stretch at the right leg. If you're getting that from a seated position on the block, that's all we want. If you're not getting it from the seated position on the block, maybe remove the block. If you're not getting it without the block, maybe lean back, okay? And then, final stage, if you want to give it a go, if you're like, Ashleigh, I want more, whoosh, lie down. Only if it doesn't hurt your knee. One variation of the posture is not better than the other, it's just different variations to suit different body types. As long as there's no discomfort in the knee. If you're lying down, arms overhead, palms up. This is a big posture. Still trying to keep the knee down. Wherever you are, just focusing on the sensation in the top of the right leg. A few more breaths. Wherever you are is perfect. I really want to hammer that home with this posture. Okay, fabulous. And then come back up if you're down by propping yourself up onto your elbows, walking the hands forward, straightening the right leg, giving your legs a little shake. Okay, other side. So, right leg straight, move over to the right, take the top of your left foot to the outside edge of the left hip, maybe move your calf out the way so you can plonk that left butt cheek down. Sticking the knees together as much as possible. Rolling the left thigh inwards, and at this point, if anything's uncomfortable, remember, block is your friend. Sit on a block. And I've got a block. Yeah. So it would look like this. You just sit on a block and maybe put a blanket underneath the top of your foot, and then you'd hang out here. Just sit up nice and tall if you're hanging out here, and then over time, if you feel comfortable, maybe remove the block. Now, if you're on the block, I don't know what I was going to say. If you're on the block, great. If you're not, maybe we can take it a step further. So maybe taking the hands behind you, fingers face forward, lean back. And you always want to move slowly, so just take a couple of breaths here. See how you feel, see how you're getting on. If you feel okay, if the knee feels okay, you're more than welcome to drop down onto the elbows. But keep the left knee pulling down, keep the left knee drawing in towards the right. See how you feel here. All we're trying to go for is that big stretch front of the left leg. And then if you are okay here and you want to lay down, and some people just flop into this posture. I'm not one of those people. It took me a while, this one. So you can lie down, again, quads of steel. And maybe take your arms overhead, palms up. And then just, settling into the posture as much as possible. Breathe in. If you cannot breathe in a posture, it's a sign you've gone too far. So just making sure you can breathe comfortably, that there's no discomfort in the knee. You come out the posture if there is. Few more moments here. Okay, and then whenever you're ready to come out, you're just going to prop yourself back up onto your elbows. Whoosh, up, 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 up. Make your way back up. Give your legs a shake out in front of you. All right, here we go. So that's all of our preparation done. We're going to do some stuff. So the first two things we're going to do bridge. A pretty standard bridge, and we're going to try and interlace the hands behind the back. The second time, we're going to see if we can take the ankles, and then we'll come into our wheel pose. With bridge, sometimes, actually not sometimes, quite often, I'm tying my hair up, and I know it's not gonna. Just bear with me for a second, people. Gotta sort my hair out. I've not been able to get a haircut for, well, I say 3 months, but I've not had a haircut in like 3 years. So really, really unmanageable. So when you come into bridge, a lot of the same elements that we really want to be working in wheel. So the heels draw into the bum. The knees don't splay out to the side. They're going to gently stay drawing in, so they're in line with the hips. The glutes are working, okay? And the first time around, we're going to see if we can interlace the hands behind the back. Now, often this happens. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that. So people just interlace the hands behind the back. What I want you to try and do, instead of just doing that, is rock up onto the shoulders. So you lift your shoulders underneath the back, and you're going to feel that big increased stretch in the upper body. So, feet hip width apart and parallel. Remember, we want to keep the knees in line with the hips. Interlace your hands underneath your back, but rock up onto the shoulders as you do this. So try and get as much of the shoulder underneath the back as possible. And then as you inhale, lift your hips up, okay? And the chest comes forward towards the chin, and the chin tucks in ever so slightly towards the chest. Okay. So what we're trying to do really is get the ankles underneath the knees. It can be difficult to sort of feel this, but feel the work in the inner thighs, the work in the glutes. People, don't relax your glutes in back bends. Yeah, that's counterintuitive. You need to be working. Breathe in and just seeing how this feels. Okay, and then exhale, bum down, release, hug your knees into your chest. So bridge is the option. It's the option if full back bend's not working, or maybe you feel uncomfortable in it, you come into a bridge. It's a fantastic posture. Works a lot of the same kind of areas, the shoulders, the front of the body. You still need the strength in the feet to pick you up, etc., etc. So this time we're going to have a go at another bridge. We're either going to repeat that position with the hands interlaced, or maybe this time we're going to take the ankles. Now if you take the ankles, it's going to be a very big back bend. So we'll see what happens, but you always have that first variation to go back to. So feet hip width apart and parallel. Remember, we're going to always keep the knees gently drawing inwards. They have a real tendency to splay out, but trying to keep them in line with the hips. And then just see if you can take your ankles first, which means the heels have to come quite far into the butt. Now, if you can't take the ankles, don't worry about it. Just come back to the interlaced position. Now, this is a lot stronger. So if you're holding on to the ankles, get a good grip, and then inhale, see if you can lift the hips up. You're going to have to roll your shoulders under once the hips have lifted. Just play around with it, see how you feel with it. If this isn't working, come back to the interlaced variation. A few more breaths. And then exhale, release. Okay, wonderful. Then just give your legs a little shake, maybe hug your knees into the chest. So you can practice either one of those bridges. You can practice the bridge, the first one or the second one if you don't want to give wheel a go. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. You have to be careful of this posture. So in Ashtanga we do wheel 3 times. So the first time you come into it, you want to come into it wider. You want to make your life easier. So the last bridge we done, we had the heels right up in towards the bum. Now for the first, that's okay if you're practicing bridge, if you want to work that. However, because we're going to be doing 3 of these back bends, the first wheel, I always say, move your heels away from your bum a little bit. So it's going to give you, it's just going to make it easier to come up and find that length through the spine. So maybe the heels come away from the bum, I'll just show you first. But you want your feet hip width apart again, and it's the same with bridge. You want the knees to stay in line with the hips. So you don't want the knees to splay out, so the adductors are working, the glutes are going to be working to lift the hips. Now with the hands, you place your hands, fingers face forward. So we've done a lot of practice with this movement today. but you need to be able to get your palms flat. If you can't get your palms flat, you're not going to be able to come up into this posture because you need to press through the hands and the feet to get the lift. So fingers face forward, the elbows are bent. The elbows have a tendency as well to splay out to the side, but keep the elbows pointing up, and the hands are, you know, sort of by your ears, okay? So they're not too wide, sort of framing the head. And then as you come up into wheel to begin with, what you need to do is first of all press through the feet, lift the hips, just like bridge. And this is a very valid place to stay, okay? So gently pressing into the hands, lifted the hips up. So this might be where you want to stay. The next step of this posture is to press into the hands and see if you can come onto the top of your head. This is a place where people stay for a long time. Pressing into the feet, crown of the head on the floor, and the hands in the wheel position. Now you may want to stay here. Now to come up into the full wheel, you have to keep pressing until you straighten the arms. And this movement here can be a lot for some people. So you may want to stay on the top of your head. Now when you're in wheel, you can see at the moment my chest is way further back than my hands. The effort, in one respect, is to pull the chest through the arms, to keep the glutes working, to keep the knees in line with the hips. And you can see I'm quite wide in this bridge at the moment, quite long rather. And the reason being is that the next time you come into it, you drop the head, maybe come up onto tiptoes, you walk the hands in, and you come back up. So you shorten it. So you don't want to start too short. All right? Let's give it a go. Why not? You want to be careful. If you're not confident coming up into this posture, I recommend not doing it. And at the end of the day, what's the point? Like, you don't want to upset yourself by doing a posture. So if you're not confident with it, stay in the bridge. Interlace the hands or take the ankles. Don't do nothing. Definitely do something, but stay in the bridge. Or you can come to the top of your head. And as you come out of wheel, you come out of it very, very slowly as well. So we'll talk through it. So we'll have a go at wheel now. We're just going to do one to begin with. Actually, we'll do one on the top of the head to begin with. We'll come down. Then we'll do a full one, a little bit longer. And then we'll have a go at dropping the head, shortening and coming back up. But like I said, if you want to do bridge instead, absolutely stick with the bridges. So to come into wheel, move your heels away from your butt to begin with for this first top of the head variation. But keep your knees in line with your hips. Okay, and then the first thing that messes people up is the hand positioning. So you take your hands by your ears, fingers face towards your feet. Okay, and then you need to get the hands flat. If this isn't happening, come back to bridge. The elbows gently draw in so they're not splaying out. So some people say elbows over wrists, that makes sense. And then we're not going to come up all the way this first time around, we're going to come to the top of the head. So if you come to the top of the head, make sure the crown of the head is on the floor, not the forehead, not the back of the head, and you're still pressing into the hands to support the posture so you're not overloading into the neck. So as you inhale, just press into the feet to begin with, lift the hips, just like bridge. Strong through the legs. And then press into the hands, see if you can come onto the top of your head, crown of the head. If this is uncomfortable for the neck, come out the posture. And then just hold it here. Okay, so it's much like bridge, except we're on the crown of the head, pressing into the hands to support the posture. A few more moments. And then as you exhale, just press into the hands, tuck the chin in towards the chest and lower the butt back down to the floor, hug your knees in towards your chest. There we go. Was alright, wasn't it? So that's an option. If you feel comfortable doing that, but not the full thing, you're going to keep doing that. Otherwise, we're going to see this time if we can straighten the arms. I'm just going to tie my hair up. Okay? So practicing any of the variations we've worked with, or taking your feet hip width apart, but move your heels away from your bum to begin with. We're going to come into a slightly longer version of this. but we still want the feet to be roughly hip width apart. I think I said that. But heels away from the bum. And then place your hands on the floor by your ears, fingers face your feet, and the elbows draw in. Okay, so to begin with, it's the same thing. You inhale, press into the feet first to lift the hips. Legs are strong. And then from there, press into the hands, maybe top of the head, or maybe all the way up, straightening the arms. Okay, let's just hold it here and see how we feel. So it requires a lot of flexibility in the shoulders, the wrists. Now my chest is leaning back, yours might be too. See if you can draw your chest through your arms, much like we did in the up dog. Okay, and then press into the feet. Keep the legs gently drawing in. It's quite a long wheel here. It feels quite nice. So think of this more as a front body opener. This first one, I mean they all are, but especially this first one. So definitely not compressing in the lower back, moving the chest through the arms, really feeling the stretch in the tops of the legs. And then to come out of it, you're going to bend the elbows, bend the legs, tuck the chin in towards the chest and slowly lower back down and then hug your knees into the chest. So yeah, I think the first wheel we do, the full wheel, it's really good to keep it long. Longer than feels sort of natural if you practice something like Ashtanga, but gives you such a fantastic opportunity to feel that length through the spine, to feel the stretch in the front body, taking it a little bit longer. Okay? So last time we're going to do this, up to you, you can pick any of the variations we've done to work with. Otherwise, we're going to come into that long wheel. We're going to see if we can drop the head, walk the hands in, and then move the hands a little bit closer towards the feet. Only do this if you feel confident doing it, otherwise any of the other ones. So feet hip width apart and parallel. Move your heels away from your bum to begin with. Okay, we're going to come into that longer variation. Setting the hands up, so hands by the ears, palms have to be flat, fingers have to face the feet. Elbows gently draw in. So as you inhale, push through the feet, lift the hips up. Continue to press through the hands and see if you can really push yourself up into this quite long wheel. So a lot of arm strength there. You might need to readjust the feet, you might need to readjust the hands, but just see if you can draw your chest through your arms. Okay, keeping everything nice and strong. Lots of length through the spine, head relaxes. Same here, or as you exhale, you're going to drop the crown of the head to the floor. Maybe come up onto your tiptoes and see if you can walk the hands in a few inches. And then inhale, press back up into your wheel. And then remembering to move the chest through the arms. Head relaxes, hips up. Gently drawing the thighs in if you feel like they're staying out. And then holding wherever you are for a few more breaths. And then exhale, slowly exit. And then just hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side, make some circles. Okay, and then when you're ready, come up, because we're going to do a very relaxed forward fold. Yeah, so that's wheel. There's lots of ways you can work it. Let's do a very relaxed forward fold. So after a back bend, you want to practice a forward fold, but this isn't an effortful forward fold. This is a very relaxed, sort of gentle movement. So legs straight or bent, inhale, lift the arms up, and then as you exhale, you're just going to let the body fall down. You can round the back, let the neck go, and then just take a few moments here. Okay, wonderful, and then inhale back up to center, and then as you exhale, just lie down. Going to make your way into a comfortable lying position. It can be Shavasana with the legs straight, or you can have the knees bent, or you can have the soles of the feet together, the knees falling outsiders. I don't care. I don't care how you want to lie, but find in a comfortable position you can just lie in for a little bit. Let the breath come back to normal. So just relaxing now. So yeah, lots of options when it comes to wheel. Bridge, the first one we practiced, is a great variation, especially if the shoulders and the wrists are struggling in the wheel positioning, in the hand positioning. Just stay in bridge, until your body's ready. A really good option as well is the crown of the head one. The only thing there is you don't want to take too much pressure through the neck, so you do also need that shoulder strength to properly support that variation, but it's a good one to practice if you're there but you're not quite there. And then always making sure the first wheel is very spacious, maybe longer than feels natural, to encourage you to get the length through the spine rather than compressing into the lower back. So I feel like people think that that shorter's the better. Not really. Not really, but you know. I'm going to take a lengthy one first, and then from there you can practice walking the hands and the feet a little bit closer together, but never at the expense of crunching into the lower back. Always maintaining the length through the front of the body. Okay, lovely. So I've run over a little bit as per. I really recommend you stay here just for another minute or so. It's quite a nice place. I mean, I would stay here with you, but well, I've got to jump. But definitely stay here if you can for a minute or so. And whenever you're ready to come out, you make the movements that feel good. Maybe take a couple of twists, hug the knees in, take a cat stretch. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Have fun practicing it. I'll see you next time and enjoy the rest of your Shavasana. See you later.